Ever feel like your workflow is more like a tangled ball of yarn than a smooth, efficient highway?
Mm.
Or maybe your to-do list is just perpetually playing catch up. You feel like you're buried under tasks.
Oh, absolutely. It's a common feeling. But what if there was a framework, a really powerful one, that could untangle those knots, make things smoother, more productive? That's really what operational excellence offers.
Okay, right. Let's unpack this then. Today we're doing a deep dive into operational excellence and specifically lean thinking for the office. We're drawing our insights from this really comprehensive guide by Vishnu Rayapeti. He's a principal consultant over 2 decades in manufacturing and supply chain. So lots of practical wisdom here that we can apply to our daily work, no matter where you sit.
hmm And if for you, the listener, the benefits here are actually quite profound. Think about it. Simplified processes, jobs that are easier, maybe more fulfilling. That can really help with things like employee turnover. And you'll likely see better quality, increased throughput. I mean, ultimately, it makes the whole organization more competitive, reduces waste, cuts lead times, lowers costs. It's not just efficiency for efficiency's sake. It's about making work better, maybe even more secure.
So our mission today is pretty clear. You give you a shortcut to understanding how to make any operation, especially those daily office and admin things, really efficient and effective. Let's just jump right into this deep dive.
Okay, so operational excellence, or OpEx, at its core, it's about being better than the competition. At least one, ideally, all the important areas: flexibility, innovation, price, quality, delivery, service, all those things. And crucially, it's about continuously improving cycle times, operating margins, asset returns, customer satisfaction. It's the whole picture.
That sounds like a really ambitious vision. Where do organizations even start, especially in an office? Getting that right the first time, minimal waste ideal seems tough. What's the practical goal?
Well, our guide puts it perfectly. The ultimate goal is getting the right things to the right place in the right quantities at the right time, and importantly, at the desired quality the first time, all while minimizing waste and being open to change. It sounds simple, maybe, but it requires real discipline.
Yeah, I often hear lots of different terms thrown around for this stuff. It feels like a bit of an alphabet soup? TPS, Lean, Six Sigma. Do they all basically aim for the same thing?
They do. Fundamentally, you're right. There's a whole list. Toyota Production System, Lean Six Sigma, TQM, World-Class Manufacturing, Theory of Constraints, Agile. But yes, they all share that common goal: operational excellence. Take TQM, Total Quality Management. Dr. Deming's idea was that total quality involves everyone and all activities. It must be a continuous way of life, a philosophy of perpetual improvement. It's about everyone, always getting better.
Okay, so TQM is about that continuous evolution for everyone. Is there something that focuses more on like specific bottlenecks, the friction points?
Yeah, that's where the theory of constraints, or TOC, comes in handy. Dr. Eliyahu Goldratt's big insight with TOC was that every profit-making organization has at least one constraint, which prevents the system from achieving higher performance. So the idea is find that bottleneck, manage it, and you optimize the whole system, not just little bits. It can be a real game changer.
Right. It's clear there's this whole family of approaches driving towards OpEx, but our guide really seems to zero in on one that's, well, everywhere now: lean.
Exactly. And the beauty of lean, I think, and why it's so powerful, is that it's really an ever-evolving philosophy. It's based on proven principles, sure, but it's fundamentally aimed at relentlessly getting rid of waste. And it's continuous, involving everyone. It's more than just tools. It's a mindset shift.
A fundamental mindset shift involving everyone. That does sound transformative. How do we even start to, define what that looks like in practice?
Well, James Womack and Daniel T. Jones, who really helped define lean, laid out 5 key guidelines. First, specify value from the customer's viewpoint. What do they care about? Second, identify the value stream, all the steps, and eliminate the non-value adding ones, the waste. Third, make the valuable steps flow smoothly towards the customer. No interruptions. Fourth, as you get flow, let customers pull value from the next upstream step. Don't push work down. And finally, number 5, pursue perfection through continuous improvement. Always look for ways to get better. It's a logical flow, really. Okay, so that 5th point, continuous improvement, it connects back to profitability. You mentioned lean flips the script on profit. How does that work? How does focusing on cost reduction challenge that old cost plus profit idea? What's the hurdle? Yeah, you've nailed a critical point there. Traditional thinking is often cost plus profit, price. You figure out your cost, add your profit margin, that's the price. Lean flips it, price, cost, profit. The market sets the price, really. So the only way to improve profit is to reduce your cost. The biggest hurdle. It's often just that perception shift. seeing costs not as fixed, but as something you can actively manage and reduce before you worry about price. It forces you to look inwards first.
Right. It's easy to picture this on a factory floor with physical parts and processes, but how does this really translate to, say, my desk job, to the office?
That's the key insight. The power of lean isn't just for factories. Our guide shows exactly how to apply it to the lean office. It's about learning how to stabilize, standardize, and simplify all those administrative processes using the same powerful ideas from the Toyota production system. Information flows, approvals, reports. These were all processes just like manufacturing. They can absolutely be made lean.
I can see that. It makes sense. But before we dive into the tools and techniques, what's the absolute non-negotiable first step, according to the guide?
Ah, yes. The guide is very clear on this. Management commitment. Absolutely essential. Without leadership genuinely backing it, championing it, even the best lean efforts can just fizzle out. Change needs that top-level support. Once you have that, then the path forward is really these three crucial parts. Stabilize, standardize, and simplify your processes.
Okay, let's dig into stabilize first. I guess the first step there is really understanding what we're stabilizing against, which is waste, right?
Precisely. And the guide defines waste simply as anything that adds cost or time without adding value from the customer's perspective. Now, to clarify, there are different kinds of activities. There are value-adding ones, what the customer actually pays for. Then there are non-value-adding but required activities. Think legal stuff, compliance, necessary evils maybe, everything else. Pure non-value-adding waste. And here's the tricky part in office work. This waste often just looks like being busy. We mistake activity or waiting for productive work, but it's just value draining away. The real insight is realizing that feeling busy doesn't always mean you're adding value.
Wow, that's a huge distinction, feeling busy versus creating value. So how do we actually spot these hidden wastes in our daily office grind? The guide uses a great acronym, doesn't it? Downtime. Let's break that down with some relatable office examples.
Yeah, downtime is super helpful. So D is for defects. Think data entry errors, incomplete documents, maybe poor instructions, incorrect info that someone else has to fix later.
Oh yeah, we've all gotten that email, haven't we? Where figuring it out takes longer than doing the task.
Exactly. Then O is overproduction. In an office, that might be producing reports nobody reads or making extra copies just in case,
Right.
running meetings that don't achieve anything.
Okay. W is waiting. This one feels big in offices.
Yeah?
Waiting for information. Approvals, like needing 5 signatures for something simple,
Yeah.
delays, getting info from another team. That's all waste.
Huge waste. Then N is non-effective use of talent. This is crucial. Are we underusing people's skills, their expertise, their creativity? Are people stuck doing tasks below their capabilities?
Right. T is transportation. Sounds physical, but in an office.
It can be physical, delivering documents someone doesn't need, but also excessive filing, emails sent to too many people, even just walking across the office unnecessarily.
Got it. I is inventory. How does that work with information?
Well, office inventory is often work in progress. Files waiting for signatures, a backlog of emails needing action, even obsolete files cluttering up drives. It's anything just sitting there idle, waiting for the next step.
Okay. M is motion. So wasted movement.
Yeah, any movement of people, paper, or even clicks that don't add value. Searching for files on a messy server, digging through old cabinets, repeatedly looking up the same info in a manual.
And finally, E is excessive processing, doing more than needed.
Exactly. Duplicate reports, entering the same data in multiple places, unnecessary steps in a process, maybe gold plating, something the customer doesn't even value.
It's almost funny how much busyness is just fixing things or doing extra steps. So downtime helps us spot waste. What's a tool to start stabilizing things?
Well, a really foundational tool, especially good for offices, is 5S. Stands for sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. It's a system for keeping work areas physical and digital clean, organized, and functional. Implementing 5S boosts morale, definitely improves productivity, and it sets a great foundation for other lean efforts. But the really deep insight for offices, 5S isn't just tidiness. It's about making invisible work visible. It forces clarity onto messy information flows. Your digital space becomes like a dashboard.
Making the invisible visible. I like that. So beyond 5S, what else do we need to really understand the current situation, to see the waste?
Yeah, to truly get a grip on it, you need data. You need to measure things. Like cycle time, how long does a process actually take from start to finish? And tact time, this links your work rate to actual customer demand. Are you working too fast, too slow? And critically, value stream mapping. This is huge. It lets you visually map out your entire process. You can literally see the flow, see where the delays and waste are. It's like drawing out that tangled yarn we talked about and seeing where the knots are. It creates a roadmap for improvement.
Okay, so we've used downtime and maybe 5S and mapping to stabilize and see the waste. The next step you mentioned is standardize. This sounds like creating consistency, predictability, getting that smooth flow going.
It's exactly right. And a core concept here is just in time, or JIT. The idea is supplying work or information to the next step or the customer, precisely when it's needed, in the right amount, and error-free. In Office, this dramatically improves communication, reduces those waiting times we talked about, and leads to smoother continuous flow. And that flow is often managed using pull systems and Kanbans. These use visual signals, could be a board, card, software to control work. Basically, work only gets pulled to the next step when there's capacity and a need. It stops bottlenecks building up.
It's fascinating how these manufacturing ideas fit so well. The guide even talks about standardizing something as basic as the Office file system. How does Lean tackle that?
Yeah, it offers a really practical three-step approach. First, create a central system folder, one place for all process info. Second, have a detailed process folder, maybe like a visual Kanban board, that tracks specific tasks. And third, establish a clear holding point for work that's in progress but maybe waiting for something. It's all about making information flow clearly and predictably, preventing those bottlenecks, just like materials on a line.
Okay, stabilize, standardized, then comes simplify. What's the key idea here?
So finally, we simplify. And a really powerful tool for this is mistake proofing, or the Japanese term poka-yoke. It literally means designing mistake prevention right into the process itself, aiming for zero defects. It's not just about catching errors after they happen, it's about making it impossible, or at least really obvious, to make the error in the first place. Think about a USB cable only fitting one way, or software graying out options that aren't relevant. Simple design choices.
Right, those little things that just prevent frustration later. And the ultimate goal for simplification, and really everything we've discussed, the ongoing journey, is what the guide calls Kaizen.
Exactly. Kaizen. Continuous improvement. It's not a project with an end date. It's an ongoing culture, an ongoing journey where the people actually doing the work are empowered to find and implement improvements constantly. It's about making small, incremental changes all the time, everywhere.
This all sounds incredibly logical, very process-driven, but connecting it back to the bigger picture, all these tools and techniques, they only really work if what's in place.
Yeah, they need that foundation of strong leadership and change management. The source really emphasizes this. Leaders have to provide clear direction. They need to lead courageously, influence people positively, and really foster teamwork, because ultimately, these changes involve people changing how they work. And that requires support, guidance, and buy-in. The human element is key.
Right. The guide actually gives a neat formula for success. It boils it down to great ideas from the team, clear communication about the goals and progress, a strong culture of continuous improvement, careful observation of how things are now, and dedicated teamwork. It brings it all together.
It does. And a key insight there, I think, is how it shifts communication. It moves away from just top-down directives, here's what we're doing, towards something more collaborative, more empowering, like asking, how can we make this better? It invites everyone into the problem-solving process that creates ownership, purpose. That cultural shift is often the hardest part, but maybe the most rewarding.
So thinking about all this, what does it mean for you listening right now? We've really explored the power of operational excellence. We've dug deep into lean principles for the office, from spotting those hidden wastes using downtime defects, overproduction, waiting, and so on, to the practical steps. Stabilize, standardize, simplify. It's really about transforming your workflow, isn't it? Not just tinkering around the edges.
Absolutely. And maybe this raises a question for you to reflect on. When you look at your own daily work, managing emails, handling project tasks, maybe even just your personal routines, where do you see the biggest downtime waste hiding? And thinking about the tools, what single, maybe small 5S change or simple mistake-proofing idea could you try, maybe even today, to start your own journey towards making things flow better?
Yeah, think about it. That journey to a smoother, more efficient, maybe even more fulfilling way of working.
Yeah.
It really starts at that first observation, that first small step. We really hope this deep dive has given you plenty to think about and maybe even more to act on. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive into operational excellence, Standard Outro Line. Join us next time for another deep dive into the knowledge you need.